이 친구들이 이마를 깠기 때문에 저도 이마를 까고 게임에 집중해 보도록 하겠습니다.
If you don't feel up to it, I won't tell anyone.
It's just a goodbye, John. It won't be difficult. I've already come to terms with my mother's passing.
So you really don't remember?
To what do you refer?
The funeral. Sherlock, you were distraught. At first, I thought this visit would dredge up those feelings, but you've been remarkably level.
John, I think I was too young to understand. I couldn't fathom why she would leave me.
Perhaps that pain is best left forgotten.
On the contrary, it's why I'm visiting her grave. To remember her.
진짜 마이크로프트가 단호했어.
Adamant that we leave for London immediately after the funeral. He never told me why, but I saw how unsettled he was by the long requiem.
그래서요. 시계 참석한 사람 많지 않았어.
Sparsely attended. Though my parents were buried separately, the pastor said they're united in heaven. I didn't believe it even then.
마이크로프트와 나는 장례식이 끝나자마자 런던으로 떠나야 했다. 장례식에는 소수의 조문객만 참석했고 모두 조용했다.
I wanted to see her one last time before the coffin was interred and say how I loved her. The chance never came. I feel rather.
현기증 난대요.
You're fine, you're fine. It's over now. You remembered everything.
이제 열리네.
It will get easier soon.
그냥 어머니가 돌아가신 거구나. 바이올렛 홈즈.
A pocket watch. It seems familiar, John. Why is it here?
회중 시계가 어때서? 뭐야? 바이올렛 홈즈.
Rest in peace, Violet Holmes. Goodbye, mother.
그다음에 회중 시계. 뭐가 있지?
This watch was a gift. My mother's initials are engraved.
어머니의 이니셜이
The
새겨져
piece is in
있다.
good condition. It must have been placed here only recently.
촛불이 있네? 불이 아직 밝혀져 있네?
A candle in a small puddle of wax. It cannot have been lit for more than half an hour.
Is this really how you want to spend this time?
This is my mother's pocket watch, John.
그렇지. 고급 신발 새거. 80.
A man in fashionable shoes stood near the tomb. The size of the print suggests
더 단서가 있겠지, 그렇지.
approximately 5.5 feet tall.
족적이 있네. 이 다음은 없는데? 잠깐. 길 나온다. 자전거 바퀴 자국.
You were about to tell me the make and model of tyre, but let me assure you, I do not care.
Well, it was going to be very impressive. Come on then, the trail continues ahead.
이쪽으로 가야겠구만. 쭉 가? 야. 이쪽에 주차를 시켜놨었고.
He mustn't be far away to leave it unattended.
It's stained with oil paint.
사진이 있네? 잠깐.
I hope that
이
inspiration
아름다운
strikes upon visiting these beautiful vaults. At the very least, you'll enjoy the view. Yours, Mercuria.
다음.
I hope that inspiration strikes upon visiting these beautiful vaults. At the very least, you'll enjoy the view.
아까 본 거 아니야?
Yours, Mercuria.
이건 아까 저기 위층에 있던
The
건데.
hospitaller crypts. If memory serves, they're located at the far end of the cemetery around an old
화가인가 보다. 화가. 이 사람은 화가였을 거야.
A portable easel was kept there.
An artist working in a cemetery. Do you think he'd paint my portrait?
모든 증거 수집. 여기 있다.
Oh, it...
Be nice, Sherry.
Mr.
Make
Holmes,
friends.
did you come for another portrait? No, I jest. You gave quite the performance last night. The hotel was abuzz with your name. I must say I was rather absorbed in it all. The fallibility of men. Such scandal.
it was a welcome distraction.
Oh, my manners. I am Werner Vogel, art enthusiast and gallery proprietor.
Mr. Vogel, I was perhaps too curt when last we spoke.
Speak no more of it. Travel takes it out of any man, never mind when this is your destination. Once I learned who you were, the pieces fell into place. Your mother was well liked on Codona in her time here. I was sorry to hear of her passing.
이게 어떤 화랑이죠?
Does your gallery feature more than just portraiture?
Oh, of course. We display landscapes, sculpture, modern pieces too. I am sure we have something that will move you. You must stop by.
Only music moves me, I'm afraid.
Then you have simply not found your artist yet. Someone whose work hits you in your core. You're still young. I am sure we'll find them.
어머니 묘지에 방문했습니까?
How did you come to possess my mother's pocket watch?
Oh my! It is quite something to witness those powers of deduction firsthand. Yes, I left you her timepiece. After her death, there was an estate sale. All of Cordona's elite picking of her remains. I couldn't let such a lovely thing go to those vultures. When I learned your name, I could no longer keep the watch in good conscience. It is yours by right, and I knew you'd find it here.
Thank you. I'd forgotten all about it, but the moment I saw it, I knew it was hers. Amazing what the young mind forgets and the older can recall. Rather odd, loitering in a cemetery.
I suspect you'll win, but I'm here for my art. There's beauty everywhere if you look, even in decay. A little darkness brings out the light. Now, a diligent observer might note that you too are loitering in a cemetery. What brings you here? Closure answers penance?
Closure, I suppose.
And what is closure? Mere proximity?
Understanding. Acceptance.
You didn't understand from afar. You had to come here to accept the truth of her death?
Of course I understand. She died of consumption, drowning in her own blood.
Your mother?
Yes, my mother.
I must have been misinformed. I'd heard otherwise.
Otherwise than consumption?
No, you'd know better than I. I'd heard talk of a police investigation, but Cordona is a notorious gossip. And what does it matter? She's passed on either way.
She has.
Well, I shall intrude no longer. I'll leave you to your closure. Do stop by the gallery if your travels permit. Farewell.
여기 있다. 찾았다. 아, 여기 있네.
Hey, Sherry. There's post here.
뭐야 이거? 셜록, 이 편지가 네 손에 들어가지 않았으면 좋겠구나. 이 편지를 읽고 있다면 그 말 같지도 않은 짓을 해버렸다는 뜻이니까. 과거는 과거일 뿐이다. 옛날 일을 더듬는데 시간과 기운을 쓰는 것은 좋게 말하면 어린애 같은 방종이고 나쁘게 말하면 병적인 나약함일 뿐이야. 폐결하게 말로는 아름답지 않아. 네가 뭐라고 주장하던 너는 보지 않는 편이 좋았다. 아마 지금쯤이면 어머니의 마지막 안식처를 방문했겠지. 이걸로 네 성급한 충동이 충족되었을 거라 믿으며 당장 런던으로 돌아오기를 바란다. 과거로부터는 등을 돌리고 미래를 빛낸 것을 도울 시간이다. 영국은 네가 필요해. 쟨 또 왜 또 저기가 있어? 쟨 앉는 거 진짜 좋아한다.
You were a couple of feet shorter back then, Sherry. Or maybe it's bigger on the inside.
쟤는 앉는 거 참 좋아한단 말이야.
Did the ash
너가
all
뭐
over the
할머니야?
door? I don't recall hearing of a fire.
We don't have to stay here. You can afford another night or two at the hotel.
It's stuck.
Oh well, let's just head back. They probably haven't even stripped our room yet.
Come on. Must be locked.
Move aside. Let me have a go. Seems fine to me, Sherry. This barrier. Perhaps it's mental, not physical.
Or perhaps the rest of us are simply constrained by reality, John. I wonder if there's a key secreted somewhere in the garden.
Take a look around, Sherlock. I'm sure you'll discover something.
또 뭔가를 찾아야 되는구만. 또 요거 수색해야 돼? 수색하는 거야? 둘러보자고 제안했다. 또 집중해야 되는 건가요? 뭐야? 뭐야?
I did
면수가?
not expect these to still be here. It was enjoyable to practice using real handcuffs to make an arrest.
Hey, that's Wooden Joe. He was always the best at playing criminals.
뭐지? 돌?
And this must be the reason our suspect was apprehended. Wood and glass, oh, very precious.
검?
An irreplaceable tool for catching a thief. Funny. Wooden Joe reminds me of the trouble we once got in with the police. Do you remember, John?
Somewhat.
경관이
The policeman brought us both home, John. That's why he was here.
I'm pretty sure he brought something else with him too. Do you remember what it was?
금속?
I bet it was our reward.
No, we were not so lucky.
아. 뾰족하다?
It was a set of lockpicks that we had used to sneak into someone's house. That's why we were arrested.
Did someone come out to investigate all the commotion?
It was Mycroft. He smoothed things over and convinced the policeman not to press charges. The officer left and never returned. But we had to endure a serious talking to from my brother.
마이크로프트가 좋아하지 않았어.
Mycroft wasn't happy about the fact that we were arrested. It felt like he lectured us for hours.
Did we give him something afterwards, Sherry?
어? 종이?
Oh, yes. Yes, now I remember. It was a letter. That's why we snuck into the house. Mycroft asked us to. He wasn't angry we stole, but that we got caught.
Ah, that's right. It must have been only a couple of months after we moved to Cordona. Ugh, the good old days. Whoa.
How very odd. It appears that memory stood between me and the manor. It's as if my mind palace had seeped into the real world. This deserves further investigation. Perhaps there's more to discover inside.
As long as there is a comfortable place to put my feet up, I'll be happy. Maybe a chaise longue.
Aha! In we go.
뭐 이제 열린 거야?
Home sweet home, Sherry.
Mycroft's umbrella. The only outgoing thing in his wardrobe.
영국인 하면 또 우산이긴 해.
One of the first things I saw when entering this house as a child. It's like deja vu. Hey, this is the luggage we brought from London, isn't it?
그렇구만. 또 있구만. 언제나 항상.
There was always a hat on our stand, but I'm sure it did not belong to Mycroft.
또
Our mother brought a slew of belongings with her. She refused to leave a single thing in London. Mycroft had to spend the whole day dealing with it.
다음 또 하나 있지 않았나? 여기 있다. 여행은?
This trip was a challenge for our mother. I tried to help her.
Do you feel it? Is it the air shimmering, or is it my imagination?
어? 또 회상이구만. 자, 여기는 아마 이게 그 마이크로프트가 아니라 그랬으니까 이거겠지? 이게 아니라면은 여기는 또 어떤 게 나올까? 이것도 혹시 증거가 있나? 자, 가져온 짐이 많았는데 어머니가 런던에 두고 오기 싫다고 하셨기 때문이다. 마이크로프트는 짐을 처리하느라 바빴다. 그러면 짐을 처리하느라 바쁜 마이크로프트. 뱃길 여행은 어머니에게 고된 일이었고 나는 어머니를 도와드리려고 했다. 외투거리에는 항상 모자가 걸려 있었는데 마이크로프트의 것은 아니었다. 우리 집에 자주 오는 사람이 있었다. 그렇지. 그럼 이제 입증하면
Your neighbors will be
됐어.
told that Mrs. Holmes is suffering from tuberculosis. It is common to move closer to the sea in such cases.
Thank you, Dr. Richter. No, Sherlock, step away from her. Upstairs, go to your room.
Lean
됐어.
on me, mother. Take your time.
Actually, I never heard her coughing. I remember now.
우리는 비오는 날에 이른 아침에 도착했다. 시리의 어머니는 힘이 없어 휘청거렸고 시리가 어머니를 도와드리려 했다. 마이크로프트는 짐을 처리하는데 매우 진지했다. 셜록이 어머니를 도와 일어나게 해드리려 하는 걸 보고 그는 셜록에게 우리 방으로 올라가라 지시했다. 마지막으로 도착한 사람은 의사인 오토 릭터였다. 그는 이웃들이 바이올렛이 앓는 병이 폐결핵이라 믿을 거라고 말했다. 셰리는 그때 어머니의 기침 소리를 들어본 적 없다는 걸 깨달았다.
I feel dizzy. It's stuffy in here, isn't it?
John, are you all right?
I'll be okay in a minute.
방금 왜 깜빡이지 않았어?
How about we find our room in the meantime?
창 안 켜고 듣방하면 자꾸 이런다고요? 아, 그게 아프리카의 현실인가? 역시 아프리카.
Look at this. It's like traveling 10 years into the past.
이게
with a
셜록의
single
방이구나.
step. Oddly satisfying.
Oh, it reminds me of our neighbour. He had the same balloon in his yard, only bigger. Do you remember?
Yes. We visited him several times while living here.
그렇군요. 어머니의 사망에 관련된 기록은 없지만 우리 가족의 친구는 코르도나에 있다. 그가 뭔가 알고 있을 수도 있다.
Wasn't that neighbour missing a finger?
That does sound vaguely familiar. Wasn't his name, Theodore? Theodore Gilden, perhaps?
It's the perfect time to investigate.
마당에는 가스 열기구가 있었다. 저기지. 아, 저기네. 가스 열기구 있는 거 보니까 저기가 맞아. 저 저택이 맞아. 바로 갑시다. 열려 있네.
That wretch Goliath would murder us
뭐야?
all. Mark my words.
뭐야?
Destruction and trampled ground.
이게 어떻게 된 거야? 나 내 친구 만나러 왔는데?
Destruction and trampled ground.
금태두른 3장. 난장판이 벌어지다. 아, 이거 뭐야?